Hey guys, this is Christine and welcome to my cast video for my Twisted Disney Challenge Let's Play. I will be doing 2 cast videos to split up the households because I did make a lot of characters and I didn't want to jab it all into one video, and a lot of you voted on having it in separate videos, so that's what I'll be doing. But I'll be saying the rules to the whole challenge in this video, so if you want to know the rules, stay tuned. Okay, so the first thing about the Twisted Disney Challenge that I gotta tell you guys is there's gonna be different paths that you can take depending on which Disney villain that you choose. So I'm gonna be doing Scar as my Twisted Disney Challenge, and so his path will be different from other paths that you can choose. So I'll be going over the rules for his path because that's what I'm going to be doing, and I will be posting up the other paths later. I don't even have them made yet, but I will make them, I promise, and they'll have different characters all together and different orders and story progression and stuff like that. Okay, so the first part of the challenge is the Lion King storyline. So you play a Scar and you go and kill Mufasa. And then you play a Simba once Mufasa is dead and make Simba run away until he's a young adult. And then he comes back to defeat Scar later. He then marries Nala and has 2 kids, Kiara and Kion. And then Kiara will marry Kovu and have 2 kids named Anna and Elsa. The second part of the challenge, if you haven't guessed already or have been living under Pride Rock a little too long, is the Frozen storyline. So the parents die by drowning, and then Elsa stays in her room learning spells with the butler caring for her and Anna. Anna lives without friends or school and is like super deprived until she's a young adult. When they get to a young adult age, Anna gets engaged to the first young adult that she meets, and he must join their criminal career. Elsa obviously saves the day by freezing him and mastering her rank in the skill in spell casting. And then after all that's said and done, Anna befriends Elsa and finds a new husband and then has a girl named Aurora. So the third part of the challenge is the Sleeping Beauty story. So Aurora gets sent to live with 3 fairies, spellcasters, unless they release fairies here soon. It'll be spellcasters, to hide away. Aurora must live old-fashioned and cannot talk to strangers until she is a young adult and must find Prince Philip at that time, and then moves into the castle with him and gets married and all that, and has one girl named Jasmine. So the fourth part of the challenge is the Aladdin storyline. So when Jasmine is a child, she will get a tiger kitten and become companions with it, and also her mother will die, unfortunately. Jasmine must never leave the palace and is homeschooled, and she can only talk to suitors that, like all the men that show up to the palace and anyone that the father influences her to meet. But when a flea market comes, Jasmine leaves home and meets a commoner and falls in love and gets married and has 1 child, which will be like mother/father Ethel. At this, like, I don't really care if it's a boy or a girl. You can stick to girl if you want if you're doing this challenge, but it can be boy or girl, and it'll just be mother Ethel basically. So the 5th part of the challenge will be like the first half of the Tangled story. It'll be focused on mother/father Ethel. Mother/father Ethel aims to become a witch to live young forever. They need to be able to make the potion of rejuvenation to stay young. They're also very avid about growing cabbage and lettuce, for which at some point they trade a family for their newborn for some of their cabbage, and then locks that child up in a tower out of bitterness for losing some of their cabbage. Unfortunately, that's kind of the story of Rapunzel. And then the 6th part of the challenge is Rapunzel's half. So Rapunzel stays locked up in a tower until she is a young adult, and she does not go to school, she does not have any friends, she does not meet any strangers. Rapunzel escapes when Mother is out and finds a true love. She invites him over when Mother is gone until they elope, and then they kill that mother/father. And then they move to a new house and have 2 girls, the name Tiana and their older sister Maleficent. So the 7th part of the challenge will be the Tiana storyline. mixed with a little Maleficent. So Tiana and Maleficent grow up an average life and working part-time jobs until they're young adults. Tiana then buys and starts a restaurant business with her savings from all those part-time jobs and meets a customer wearing a green and marries that person. They then have one girl and they name her Snow White, but parents die and Snow White is then raised by Maleficent, who is jealous of her. So the 8th part of the challenge is Snow White. Snow White is raised by her sister Maleficent and isn't allowed to go out or talk to strangers, but talks to visitors anyway. So if there's a guy or a girl that's showing up at the house, even though she's not supposed to, she goes and talks to them. When she's a teen, she starts making wishes in the well and finds her true love that way, which at that point then kills Maleficent and has 8 children. The final child being a girl named Giselle. So that leads into the 9th part of the challenge, where I play the Enchanted storyline, kind of. So Giselle is sick of all her siblings and moves out of the house once she is a young adult to live in a little cottage by herself. She must find the perfect pair of lips at the love festival and gets engaged that same night. They move to the city and she falls in love with her soulmate, who is not the person she was engaged to. And then they have one girl named Belle, which goes into the 10th part of the challenge. Belle's life is all about studying and reading and good grades. When she dates, it never works out. Once she's a young adult, she meets a man in a bear suit during the bear night at the bar and finds her soulmate. She has one girl named Cinderella, but Belle dies when Cinderella is a toddler. So now we are at potentially the last part of the challenge. I could go on past this if I feel like it when the time comes, but supposedly this is the end, but it could be continued. But the 11th part is the father tries to find a new mother for Cinderella and finds a wife with 2 kids. They are mean and evil, and they help raise Cinderella. The stepmother kills the dad once Cinderella is a child, and Cinderella becomes the new housekeeper until stepmom dies, and then Cinderella eventually marries back into royalty. But that is pretty much the challenge in a whole. I could continue the challenge further with other storylines added on. I didn't want to like do it for myself though, so I stopped at 11 with Cinderella. But if I do decide when I get to that point that I want to continue, let me know in the comments now, like what storylines you would like to have incorporated into it, because maybe I'll end up doing more. But if you like this, be sure to give this a thumbs up. It would mean a lot to me. And I'm also uploading the 2nd part of the CAS at the same time, as well as the 1st part of the Twisted Disney Challenge. So if you just want to move on and start watching the Twisted Disney Challenge, the video is there, and I definitely recommend go watching it because I feel like this is going to be a really fun series. Yeah. I hope you like this, and I'll see you guys on that first video. I'll see you guys later.